Hey, this is Biswajit, and you are listening to Science or Something Else, where ideas spark, stories unfold, and voices matter. Get ready for deep dives, bold insights, and real conversations that keep you hooked. Let's begin. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome you to today's episode, Pill, Profit and Power, where we challenge the ideas that shape our world, especially the ones we rarely question. Now, what if I told you that medicine is not science? Sounds outrageous, right? After all, we've been conditioned to believe that modern healthcare is grounded in rigorous research, meticulous testing, and solid scientific principles. But is that really the case? Today, we are pulling back the curtain on a perspective that shakes the very foundation of what we've been taught. And I warn you, some of what you are about to hear may make you uncomfortable. But that's exactly why we need to talk about it. Let's start with a number that might shock you. There are approximately 18,000 diseases for which we still have no effective treatment or cure. And even for the conditions we do treat, the effectiveness of many interventions is debatable. In fact, studies show that a staggering 85% of medical and surgical treatments have never been properly tested. That means when your doctor prescribes a treatment, there's a high chance it hasn't been rigorously proven to work. According to the British Medical Journal, only about 15% of medical interventions are supported by solid scientific evidence. And if that doesn't make you pause, consider this. Out of the thousands of articles published in medical journals every year, only 1% are considered scientifically sound. So, I have to ask, if so much of modern medicine is based on incomplete data, personal biases, and assumptions rather than irrefutable science, how can we place blind trust in the system? And here's where it gets even more interesting. Studies have found that a kind and compassionate doctor can have up to a 50% higher healing rate than a less empathetic one. Not because their treatments are better, but because of the power of human connection. Then there's the placebo effect, where simply believing a treatment will work can sometimes heal a patient as much as, or even more than, the treatment itself. So, again, I ask, if medicine were purely a science, would things like compassion, belief, and placebo have such a profound impact on patient outcomes? But here's where things take a darker turn. Modern medicine isn't just about health, it's big business. The pharmaceutical industry funds the majority of medical research, and those studies are often designed to make products look good, not necessarily to uncover the truth. Time and time again, we've seen research manipulated, negative findings buried, and corporate interests take precedence over genuine patient care. And doctors, many unknowingly, or sometimes even knowingly, become part of this system, influenced by business considerations rather than pure medical science. And if that wasn't enough, let's talk about consistency, or rather, the lack of it. Two patients with the exact same symptoms might receive completely different treatments depending on which doctor they see. Why? Because medicine isn't just about science, it's also about interpretation, experience, and sometimes even personal biases. In some cases, the outcome you get can feel more like luck than logic. So, where does this leave us? Well, here's the hard truth. Medicine today is more art than science. Yes, it's built on scientific principles, but it's also deeply influenced by economic pressures, corporate agendas, and personal judgment. Doctors may present themselves as infallible scientists, but modern medicine often functions more like a craft, sometimes even like mysticism, draped in the language of science but driven by profit, not always by a pure pursuit of healing. And that brings us to the real question: are we truly advancing medicine, or are we just maintaining an illusion? In a world where healthcare is increasingly commodified, we as patients need to be informed. We need to ask the hard questions. We need to demand better. Because if we don't, we may just continue to place our trust in a system that, in many cases, hasn't fully earned it. That's it for today's episode. Stay curious. Stay critical. And as always, thank you for listening.